Hello, everybody, and welcome to the HSBG podcast. I'm your host, okay, Collins, and I'm here with my constant co-host, Shady Bunny. Shady, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Collins. How are you today?
Doing well. For us, it's Thanksgiving. My family's around. They're doing stuff. Though today they're not bothered. They're gonna be here later, so I'm free to do whatever I want. But yeah, how about you? I know you don't celebrate, but still,
Yeah,
should be
no, I
nice.
mean, it's a good reminder, right? Think about stuff you're grateful
Be
for.
thankful for, the things in your lives and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah. No,
And kind of
I think that's a healthy practice. Try to do that more than once a year.
probably,
But yeah,
yeah,
on
yeah,
that day at least you get reminded
yeah,
for sure.
sure. But I don't think there's been any like heavy patches recently in Hearthstone. Everyone's on break probably, so
Yeah.
makes sense. And they're also working on the new duels mode. Not duels, but like the duo mode.
Yeah,
That
duo
thing.
mode.
I
Now it was
I
duels.
hope.
Okay, I got it. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Yeah.
So hopefully they'll get that up and running, but still have some other things to talk about and just some general things we want to discuss. So
Yeah, for sure. It's was a busy week for me, so I do think we missed 1 week.
any
So
any any reason why you're busy? Anything you can spoil? No, no, nothing.
yeah, I've done some double streams
Okay.
where I've done a stream, then take a small break, do all kind of IRL stuff, and then
Right.
fire it up
Come
again.
back.
So
Yeah.
that was good times, and yeah, in general. I guess I could make the announcement on the podcast. Why not? Because I've been like, I do need to drop this somewhere. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, right. I'm uh, I'm gonna be a father again uh,
Oh.
in March of next year. So yeah, I've got a lot. Basically, I'm doing double shifts now, just because which is normal, I guess.
But
Being
you
a
have
father.
practice this time. You're not
Yes,
you're not
yes,
going in
yes.
level one. Yeah.
No,
So at least that's a little bit
I
better.
think when you're first time around is, I mean, I can't speak to the second time other than the prep work, but it would seem to me that it's going to be less of a transition. But yeah, obviously a lot of work ahead, sleepless nights, but it's with a lot of
Right.
love. Yeah, thank you,
Now
Sean.
going back to
Yeah,
Hearthstone.
yeah, yeah. There's this guy hijacking this podcast talking about his shit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, fair
I got
enough.
a
Nah,
podcast
yeah.
exclusive here. There we go. Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, so we're today we want to talk about some meta stuff because it's
Hmm.
been the meta has been, you can't really call it stale because there's anomalies. So there's still, you need to play a lot of games to know all the anomalies and to be like, oh, I've played this one, 100 times. I know exactly what to do. And then you have specific anomalies that change based on which types are in. So there's a lot of variations, but there is definitely some things that keep popping up in most anomalies. So I
I
figured
could
that,
take a gander.
yeah, okay, yeah. So let's do top three comps, I guess. So there's three things I would say that are quite significantly stronger than their counterparts. So there are niche things that we won't use for this list, like braggarts and stuff, because that's only tier 7. So it's
Right.
things that are in most lobbies.
Okay. I know one for sure, right?
Yeah,
Okay, beasts have to be in there.
yeah. Beast is in that
Okay.
top three for sure.
Okay. Murlocs, right? Base skill is still broken.
Absolutely,
Okay.
Murlocs.
Third one. This one is more I'm not sure about. Um, mechs? Are mechs good?
No,
No.
Collins.
Okay.
You know what's OP.
Phalanx.
Phalanx, yeah.
Okay. Okay, okay. All right. Those are the three you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the three.
Oh,
So
okay. I got it for okay,
yeah, 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 it's
okay.
Phalanx. So you got
Okay.
Phalanx, Beast, and
Okay.
Murlocs. So I would say in just like the when we look at overall strength, it's Murlocs, because like pretty much nothing beats Murlocs, because they're king of everything, right? They are the biggest, because Bran Murky Murkai, like you very very routinely have 500 500 600 600 on your board.
Right.
And one of those 500 500s is a base skill that summons 2 Leroys from your hand. Or whatever tech you have in mind, right? Could be Selfless, could even be Sindores if you really want that. So, and then on the board you'll also have Murgles, which will also have a shit, like a boatload of stats. So yeah, Murlocs overall are just so nasty. But I would say Phalanx in this meta is stronger just because of how easy it is to get. Now, a full Murloc...
That's just because of all the discover abilities.
Yes. So I'll explain in just a second, right? The Murlocs are stronger in their final form, 100%. No doubt about it. Can't really beat Murlocs. Like, if Murlocs get to play the game...
You haven't seen me play shitty.
Yeah, Colin's like, you haven't seen my deflector buds, baby. Let's go. Well, I mean, you can always kill them when they're just about to pop off, right? But if a Murloc player has what he needs, then yeah, the Murloc player will win the lobby pretty much. Now, the reason why I put Phalanx above that is just you get 1 Phalanx and 1 Titus, and you are strong. You get 1 Bran and 1 Primal Fin, that's good, but you're not strong, right? Like that's part of that. And then you kind of want the Golden Bran, and you need to be on tier 6, and you kind of need to roll the Murkai and the Murky, and you want the Drakari, and you want to triple your shit.
Sounds like a lot of stuff.
Takes a while, you need to... It's really a snowball thing. You need to be strong. You need to be able to get to 6. Then you need to discover the tier 6 Murlocs, which happens quite often, right? And again, I'm not going to say people don't get there. But the frequency with which you can just have a Titus and a Phalanx on your board, and then like 4 or 5 other types, that's very easy, right? It's as easy as, I tripled into a Phalanx and rolled into a Titus. Boom. Right?
Some people are like, it's not easy for me, shit. Like, what you doing like that?
I mean, it's like I said, it's a lot of the time you can even get away with not having the Titus at the start, and you just have a Reborn, right? It's so versatile,
right?
Because then you basically have Titus, right? It's double Phalanx. It just has Reborn, so that's a Soul Splitter. That's the Beast Reborn, a Mecha Jiraxxus. There's many ways to do it, and you
could argue the Reborn's better.
Yeah. Now, the Titus, of course, it builds into the comp where you want to get your resummon abilities like the Kangur, like the Cultist for demons. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do to improve your Phalanx comp, but you're strong when you have a Reborn Phalanx. Like, let's say it's like 9 gold, 10 gold. That's around the time where you triple into a 6. If you have a Reborn Phalanx on that turn, you're very likely winning the next fight. Yeah. That's a lot. That's like, let's say it's 5 types, that's 35, 35. Then it reborns 35, 35 again. You just gained plus 70, plus 70.
Too much.
Yeah. So pretty good. And of course you can put it on great minions. It could be on Cleave, it could be on the Warp Wing, it could be on a Divine Shield.
Deflecto.
Yeah. I had a Deflecto today that I pumped to like over 400 with Phalanx.
Was it enough?
Yeah, I won.
Okay.
That was a lot of Phalanx. I had double golden Reborn Phalanx, golden Titus, double Kangur.
What anomaly is this? What's going on?
I don't think the anomaly had that much to do with it. Let me think. So it was audience choice, which is the crazy one.
Yeah, that gives you.
It didn't really help me out there, but I was a cat. So I stole Titus of other people to make it golden.
I didn't know you played cats. Okay.
I played on an A, and it was like, let's do cats, because it was audience choice, and I was like, all right, this is already a clown fiesta. Let's just let people pick some greedy stuff, and then let them die, and then I'll take it from them. But
is that what happened?
Well, yeah, but I ended up selling a lot of it because the Phalanx comp was so good, because I had like this. I don't know. I had this like 55 golden
Disappointing.
copter in my hand. I was like, get out of here. I don't need you. Get out of here.
This
It's
is,
like
this is disappointing.
golden Omega Buster. Get out of here. Come on. You're gonna miss with my Kangaroo. It's like you have like this is the world we live in, Collins. I have golden Titus, double Kangaroo, and my cat hero power gives me a golden Omega Buster.
Omega Buster.
And it's
And you're
awful.
alone.
And my board is technically all mech, right? I've got Deflecto and 2 Phalanx. But
Peculiar.
that's a great example for like how broken Phalanx is. When you have golden
You couldn't
Titus,
put it at the end. It doesn't make sense.
it makes no sense now because you want to have more types and you want to
Right.
have the resummons on the Phalanxes. That's all that matters really.
Huh.
Like the worst case scenario is that like somehow that Buster gets killed by a Zapper or whatever, which wouldn't happen in this case, right? But like let's say or actually what's more realistic is the Buster dies before they kill a Kangaroo, and it fills your board with like little shits, and then the Kangaroo doesn't summon as many Phalanxes. So it's really just liabilities.
Yeah, I see that.
I have
Okay.
the same thing with base skill. I'm like, if base skill procs, I miss like double Phalanx. That's kind of awkward here, but yeah. Ding dong pizza. You're actually right. That is pizza. So that's crazy, but it's universal language. That is pizza at the door. Yeah. So, but yeah, that is why I would put Phalanx right now number one with just the availability, like how easy it is to get. Yeah, and I talked about that in private already, right? There's one thing that makes it very available. I don't know if you remember it.
Yes, the 4 cost card.
Yeah, the little 3/3. It's called Reef
Yeah,
Explorer.
the 3/3 refix.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Yeah.
This is an insane MMR trick, guys. If you aren't doing this yet, Collins isn't playing, so he doesn't care. But if Collins were playing,
I know how to do it.
Don't tell him, Shady. They're gonna take your MMR. So if you and again, right, most people will be aware of this, but you might not be aware of just how prevalent it is in high MMR lobbies. Like, okay, I'm first going to explain the interaction, and then I'm going to illustrate like how much I force it sometimes. So the thing we're talking about is Reef Explorer. If you have all 5 types that are in that lobby on your board,
What does Reef Explorer do?
Yeah, it will force a Phalanx, which means that you could have Bran, 5 types, Reef Explorer, 7 minions on the board, and then you'll get double Phalanx. Now, obviously, you need to be on tier 6 for this. Sometimes I do get this question like, hey, the Reef Explorer was empty. What happens? Like, were you on tier 6? No. I was like, well, then you're not going to be able to discover tier 6 minions. So that makes sense. Primal Fin on tier 4 doesn't discover Murky Murkai either. God, that would be ridiculous.
Shame.
Yeah, shame. Don't win the game on 9 gold or 7 gold or whatever. I guess 8 gold, right, would be like power level and then pop off. And then just 8 gold, Murky Murkai, triple into a brand. Yep, it's called a day. Anyways, the illustration that I had for this is recently I played a game where on tier 4, I was playing Doubleheader. So the first minion you buy every turn, you get 2 copies of it. On tier 4, okay. I bought and held double Reef Explorer. And then I just...
As you should.
Yeah,
as you should. Like, what's wrong with
2,
that?
right? And then the next turn, level to 5, hold Reef Explorer. Then level to 6, then double Phalanx. So
you already had 5 types at the point.
So the cool thing is that it's really something that if you play the meta a lot, you start looking at it. Like, let's say it's on 8 gold and you're going to sell something, you're going to think, oh, I've got 2 Murlocs, so I'll sell a Murloc. I'll keep the quill board because then if I get the Reef, then I have the types and da. So
it's a little bit more intensive, right? Like then you make it sound, because you're already playing the game with that specific scenario in mind.
Yes.
Where I don't think a lot of people will be like turn 2 thinking, okay, do I go Murlocs or do I go other types so that I can get 3 other types so that I can hit the Reef Explorer into the double level into the 6. Like, you're already thinking that. Where I don't think, like, unless you're playing a lot of your high level, you're putting that as a conscious choice. So just want to keep that in mind.
That's very fair. I guess that's why we do this podcast, right? So we could talk about it. And yeah, that is part of my decision making for sure. I'm pretty much continuously monitoring my board and seeing if I have a good spread of types, and I will definitely keep that in the back of my mind, just because it's so strong. And there are way more Reef Explorers in the game as there are Phalanxes. And if you treat a Reef Explorer the way I do, you can roll Phalanx on tier 4, essentially, right? You can't discover it, but you can roll it, you know.
So that's why it looks very consistent to you, because every Reef Explorer is a Phalanx.
Yes.
So it's like, wow, this is such a consistent comp. I just need to get to tier 4, hit one Reef, and then I'm like, I'm already halfway there. Like, you know, I can see where you're coming from, though I don't think that's the normal thought process of players, but I can see it. Like, if you're very familiar, like, that makes a lot of sense.
I think the amount of times where I play it, I have to be under so much pressure where I'm like, ugh, I can't, you know, I won't be able to go to 6.
Of course.
But that's a rare case.
And because the thing is, like, going to 6, normally when you go to 6, it's such a risky move. But if you have like a Reef Explorer already, you know, oh, this is a guaranteed Phalanx. It's not that risky to spend your gold. And then you're on 6 now, right? Which opens up a lot of other things.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so a lot of the time, it's just stronger to go to 6, grab the Phalanx, than spend all your money on 5.
I like what you're saying, Shady. This is my type of game plan. Like,
well, that's silly to think about it, right? Like, if you were to spend all your money as defensively as possible at 5, it would do less for you than level to 6 pull a Phalanx. And that's where we can see. So, like, if you're not doing well in this meta, think about, you know, are you planning on getting on 6 a lot of the time? So
now, you know, being who I am, I must ask, why is Phalanx a card? Should this be in there? Like, you know, I see you're having a lot of fun with it, but
well,
I just wondered.
Other people play it too, right? I lose to it. It happens. I definitely win a lot more with it than I lose to it. But yes, no, I think that this is something I've been saying for a while on stream. It should probably be +5/+5 instead of +7/+7. And then you can look at it if it's a problem or if it's just suddenly unplayable garbage. It's possible.
So you'd make it a 5/5 +5/+5.
No, it could be a 7/7. I don't really care too much about the base stats. It's really the buff that matters.
But it's not elegant.
Aesthetically pleasing. Yeah. Turn it into a 5/5. Yeah. If it gives +1/+1, it can only be a 1/1. Right. Okay.
well, slow down there.
Right.
That's not that good.
Now, I'd say there are some counters to this, right? So I have beaten, because I play a lot of Phalanx, I also know what kills it. So
and also you've had players that beat you even though you had the Phalanx comp.
Yeah. It's happened, but
how dare they?
Using all your little tricks, the best I've done so far is a small taunt and a Sindore. So you play a Sindore to untaunt and unreborn their Phalanx, and then you have a small taunt which won't kill the Phalanx. So their Phalanx attacks and doesn't die, and then suddenly their Cultist and their Kangor that's in position 2 and 3, they just like bonk into something and they summon nothing. So you want to mess with them like that. Yeah, but I mean, you kind of need it. Unless you're just a monster, you're not beating a good Phalanx comp by just having more stats. Because like I said, I made a 400 Deflecto earlier from Phalanx procs. That's 7/7 at a time, but you know, Golden Titus 7/7/7/7/7/7/7, Golden Phalanx 14/14/14/14, Reborn 14/14/14, Kangor board full of Phalanx again. It's just,
I can see how that's a problem.
It's a lot of numbers. It's a whole lot of numbers. So you do have to counter it unless you're a monster. So Murgles help, but still, if they have enough Phalanxes, they start like pinging into the Murgles, and then suddenly they don't have Venom anymore, and then, you know, they're really not as useful. So for the most part, you want to try to counter it. And like even Cleave, a lot of the time, doesn't do that much. Because if the Phalanx doesn't have shield, sometimes they have shields, because you triple it with an Elemental of Surprise, right? A lot of the time you do that. And you Cleave then, sure. Kangor in position 2, Phalanx has shield. Phalanx hasn't died yet, Kangor doesn't do anything, but a lot of the time the Phalanx doesn't have shield. So if you Cleave and you hit the Phalanx, the Kangor's next to it, because of the way it works, Phalanx dies, then the Kangur immediately spawns 2 more. So yeah, it's a really sturdy. It's just incredibly good EV. Like if you're gonna play Phalanx, your average return is gonna be really good.
I'm looking at it too, and it's by far the most popular 6-drop. In the game. Like if you're gonna go, like that's the way to go. Early game, there's I mean, number 2, I don't think is that surprising. Early game, late game, it's also obvious what you want in the late game, but early game, I do think it makes sense. You gander a guess.
So you're
What do people go for?
You're asking me what the most popular 6-drop discovery is, apart from Phalanx.
Yes, early game. Like this is like before turn 10.
Before turn 10.
Yeah, what would you go for if you were able to?
Yeah, what would I go for?
Well, okay, that's not fair.
Right, I'd go for gold.
What do you think other people are going for generally?
Is it like Tethys or Theo or something? Or?
No, it's Caligos.
Oh God, it's worse than I thought. They're picking Callie.
You don't think Callie is good
enough?
No,
God, you don't play Callie in this meta.
A lot of people are playing
shit.
Callie. No, well, the stats say it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Now Tethys is horrible.
Yes, I mean Tethys is really tough to. Okay, but this has always been the case, right?
Right. Yeah, because it's just generic stats. I hear you. Like it makes sense. Like that Callie would do better than the Tethys. Like if you're looking at the general spread of people, just since it's a lot easier to get a Callie and then, hey, I just raise my stats, I get stronger. Sometimes I get Nadita and whatnot, and it's fine, right? Compared to like Tethys, here's more gold, do something, right? And it's very easy for it to not be good. But yeah.
For sure. I mean, I will say Tethys is a lot worse than pre-nerf. It's now every 9 gold, so it takes a long time. Right. It's really not that great, but still, I take it over Callie for sure because no, Nadina is not a card. Collins is just being an old man. Back in my day, we had Nadina.
Back in my day, Nadina was still in there.
No, that did make it better.
What's the dragon synergy then if it's not Nadina?
It's really
there's
Bran.
Nothing.
You go Bran and then.
Yeah, I know, but like, there's no way to divine shield them at all.
No. But I mean,
why are they going Callie? What's the point?
Why are they taking Callie? Exactly.
The best point of Callie was like eventually you'd get to divine at least 3 or so. Like you would get to do something. So here's just stats. You can't double kill. What's the point of Callie then? I'm with you now.
Exactly, right? But Callie is feast or famine, and most of the time it's famine. But
well, you're getting it early, right? Like that's the thing.
Yeah, but
right?
it does not matter. Because that's not how you play. You would never, ever want to do like, oh, early Callie, now I'm going to buy a jug, and now I'm going to buy a mug. And it's like, no.
Well, I mean, if it was all jugs. Like,
no, you never get there. One Callie, you never get there. I don't care if you roll 5 jugs every shop, you're not going to get there.
I'm going to get there because I'm going to have 4 Callies at the end, JD.
But you're not going to get... But you don't get the 4 Callies if you're buying jugs. That's my point, right? So you're...
Well, if there's 5 mugs in the shop, I'm getting 4 Callies.
You're using them to triple, right? I would say even then you'd have a hard time, but...
Really? I don't know.
Callie's
I get 5 jugs.
It's really when you're on 6 and you have golden.
You're on 6, you roll double.
Or you're on 5 and you have Dracasath bullshit. So Dracasath, Rylak, pump out a bunch of those little 2/1 dragons every fight. Your hand is full with triples. Then you discover more Callies. That works.
That does work. Yeah.
You really have to go. You need some bullshit on the side. You need Murkai with Dracasath, Murkai with Murozond, Rylak with either of those 2, Golden Bran, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm just looking at what people are doing, like that's all.
And it makes a whole lot of sense all of a sudden. They're picking Callie right now. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Because, I mean, I like playing Callie because it means I have a Golden Brand, but I'm pretty much never going to have like early Callie is such a bait. Because you would not
Well,
want to buy
well,
battle
the
cards.
stats do not fully agree with you, to be fair. Like, so I'm going to defend the Cali players and say, according to the stats, it's fine. It's not Phalanx good, right? Like, to be fair, but like stat wise, it's like the second best thing you can do. So,
That's
let's
crazy. It's
let's
better than
not.
a Murkai? What does Murkai do?
Murkai is pretty good. It's and I'm talking about early, right? Like if you could get this early, I'm assuming like the people who are playing Cali have some synergies and stuff like that. But in terms of like play impact and stuff, Murkai is like a little bit like 60% as good in terms of like impact.
Wow.
Now, obviously
Okay.
that changes. Things change a lot when you go like turn 11, turn 12, right? Like if you're still playing or focusing on that, like it drops a lot. Like Goldrun starts being like the best thing you could do, which is fair, right? So there's definitely some adjustments to be made. I'm just saying, like, if you get it super early, turn 8, turn 9, like, it's not that bad to just say, whatever, I'll take my fourth place Cali game or something. I don't know. So, I'm just looking at the stats. That's all.
Right, yeah. No, I won't argue with the stats, but I don't think it works very well. 14K.
Yeah, I mean, I will say like Goldrin is like insanely good. Like, okay, you know what? Maybe Goldrin's the best thing you can do. Like, if we're looking
Yeah,
holistically, like not even like above Phalanx even. Like, hey, if you don't know what to do, you get an early triple. It's
yeah.
like,
They're
can
both
I make
fantastic.
Goldrin work?
Yeah,
Like, I would say like maybe Goldrin is the best thing. Like, period. So,
yeah.
yeah,
We can use that sort of as a
jumping
little,
off point.
yeah,
I hear
jumping
you.
off point to cover beasts.
Hmm.
Because there might be some questions like, hey, how do you play the new Goldring comp then, right? What do you want to do? So
Once
go.
again, I have problems with some of the cards in the game. Like,
Collins has some problems. So like, why is this a thing, right?
why is this a thing? Yes,
Yeah. So let's I guess introduce the new players, right? And then we can see how they change beasts. So we have the new Goldrin, which provides an aura buff. So old Goldrin was just all the things that are on the board, they get a buff. New
Yep.
Goldrin is +3/+3, but it buffs every beast that is either on your board or will be on your board. So that means that if you summon a
Forever
Feathermane,
in perpetuity, we're doing some lawyer language. Like,
yeah, until the end of combat, forever until
until
the
the
end of the
end
game.
of the universe, and
Also known as end of combat. Yeah. So.
of that particular universe, yes.
Right. Yeah. There are universes. Every combat is like, what happened? Right. So the Feathermane in your hand now gets +3/+3. The little tokens from the mech horse get +3/+3. So there is a ton of synergy. Now, why is that so good? Well, first of all, you have another new card, the chicken. Its real name I can't remember, but it's a tier 5 beast
Oh,
that
yeah. Let me
procs.
find the fucker.
Yeah, you can. It's Herald, something Herald. So the tier 5 beast procs all your death rattles start of combat. Hawk Strider Herald. Okay, here we go. Chat to the rescue.
Yeah, there it is.
Now, this is a card that we've talked about already, and I'll repeat my logic on it. I don't understand why we made a card that procs all death rattles when death rattles were balanced around having to die to get the effect. This seems like a very odd thing, right? Because
it's like, why make Rylak? Like, I don't understand
yeah,
why.
Rylak caused a lot of problems, and they kind of killed off everything outside of Rylak. Be like, all right, you go up a tier, you go away. This is thing. Reborn
Let's
Snake,
do one. I really liked how Rylak worked. Let's make another one, but
Well,
less
I will
random.
say, right now, I think Rylak's in the sweet spot, where it's just a
Yeah,
fun card, does a lot of cool stuff.
well,
But
that's
yeah,
because they removed everything.
they kind of had to put, like foam over all the furniture so that the Rylak wouldn't break anything. And be like, all right, look, the Rylak's fine. Look, it's not breaking anything anymore. It's just taped everything.
And there's still ways to gnaw into the furniture if you want. So
there's a little bit, yeah. There's a little bit. But no, the the Hawkstrider argument is just think about how insanely good death rattles are. I'm going to paint a picture like this. If you can guarantee that every single one of your death rattles on your board is going to go off in the exact order that you want it to go off, when your Titus will pretty much always still be alive. There's some small things like Illidan or the Audacious Anchor.
That's not
it's
consistent.
super niche. I can't say 100%, but let's say 99% because I've killed someone's Titus today before their chicken went off. So 99% of the time, your Titus is going to be alive and all your death rattles are going to proc in exactly the order you want them to proc in.
That sounds pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
What's the downside? There has to be a catch.
The downside is you need to have a beast on your board that gets buffed by the gold. Wait, that does not sound so bad. Okay, never mind. It's no doubt. It's catch free. So
you're lying. I've been told never to trust people who do that.
I don't believe it's. No, I mean, and this is also, it's a big part of the reason why beasts are doing so well right now. It's the Hawkstrider. Right. Because there is a third component to this madness, right? So
there's more?
But wait, there's more.
Come on, you're lying.
So we've already covered that Goldrin is now an aura buff. And we've already covered that you can proc it multiple times extremely reliably with the Hawkstrider. Mm-hmm. Right. So what works really well with aura buffs? Banana.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So now you play 2 Banana Slammers. So let's do a little bit of math here, right? So
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, you don't. By the end of this, you're not going to want to play against Beast anymore. So you get +3/+3 from Goldrin. So let's say let's be very, very modest. 1 regular Goldrin, 1 chicken, 1 regular Titus. Let's throw Reborn on the Goldrin to not be too, simplistic here.
Do we have a Banana Slammer as well?
Yes, but we're first going to do the aura buffs, right?
Do we have a Feathermane in our hand?
We could do Feathermane or Mech Horse, but we don't even need to do the exact stats. We can just say by how much it's going to be increased. Sure. If you have +3/+3 on the Goldrin, it's going to proc with the chicken and the Titus on the board. That's +6/+6. Then it's going to die. So we are on 12/12. And then the Reborn is going to die. We are now on 18/18, right? Yeah. But you have a Banana Slammer. So the 18/18, we are now on 36, right? Times 2. And then we have a second, again, these are just regular Banana Slammers, 2 regular Banana Slammers. 36 times 2 again, 72. So we now have +72, +72. So when you have the little Mech Horses that die, those things spawn with +72, 72 on them. And you have a Titus, so they keep spawning forever, right? It's 2 little 2/2s. And then when the 2/2 dies, you get 2 more 1/1s, and it's crazy. So it's like 70, 70, 70, 70. And this is bare bones, right? No golden Goldrin, no golden chicken, no golden bananas, no golden Titus.
First of all, what is beating this?
Yeah, a good Phalanx comp can beat it because Phalanx is also like buff, and Phalanx you will just buff Cleaves and you'll buff Warp Wing so you can like trade into the tokens, and the barping is too big so it doesn't get one shot by a token. But just imagine trying to beat it with a conventional regular board. Like you get absolutely shit on. So that does make the meta very, very specific where let's say Beasts and Murlocs are in, and let's throw in maybe Mech or Demon so that the Phalanx comp has a way to resummon. That's not a crazy set of types. That's in quite often. That means that if you're not playing Phalanx, Beasts, or Murlocs, you have no shot. I mean, unless you are doing some really weird thing like you're playing Sire the Nathrius Cookbook Max, or, there's something very, very specific about the anomaly that allows you to do something, you pretty much have no chance if you're not playing Beast, if you're not playing Murloc or if you're not playing Phalanx.
You need like a god mech comp.
Yeah,
or
you the things you need to do with the other types, there's always outliers, right? Like Golden Brand, Double Golden, Tethys, roll 20 Balladists, give your cleave, 800 health, right? Sure, there's always things that can happen. But, again, listen to me say that, like Double Golden, Tethys, Golden Brand, roll a bunch of Balladists, right? So you need to high roll out of your mind. And again, if the beast player is high rolling, you still have no shot. Because if that's 2 golden bananas in the back, he's something like 400 horse tokens. It's just like, excuse me, sir, why are your tokens 400? That's like absolutely outrageous. And Feathermanes, right? You could have Feathermanes in hand, which are even bigger because they start at 5/5 or whatever you've buffed them to. So yeah,
I'm not seeing how you're winning with that, with pirates or
it's really tech.
Elementals.
It's tech. So again, right? I did mention Audacious Anchor. You can try to snipe bananas before they get any of the multiplicative bonuses. Yeah. You can try to get rid of the Titus if you get lucky, right? So I think again that's how it works.
But that feels like why you playing. The weaker comp. Just play the same comp but have the tech in or something.
Yes. If you can play Phalanx, Murloc, or Beast, you should. It's really when you haven't rolled any of the pieces and you just get something else offered that you may have to go with it. Right. But it's, in order to beat Beasts, a lot of it is tech, right? So Anchor, Cleave, maybe a Zap if they really haven't done anything to protect your board. But there is this little thing with Audacious Anchor and Chicken, the Hawkstrider. So the Hawkstrider and the Anchor, I think it's just a coin flip for which one of them goes first. Because they both say before combat or start of combat or whatever the wording is.
Yeah, it's probably a coin flip. When things happen at the same time, it usually is just a flip.
I've had them happen in both orders where both my Anchor killed their chicken before it went off. And the chicken buffed itself out of range of the Anchor before the Anchor attacked. So I've had both things happen.
That doesn't feel good though, where like there's a super strong comp and you're hoping to have some counterplay and the counterplay is a 50-50. What's the point then?
It's a 50-50 after you found whatever you wanted to snipe, right? You need to find, you need to predict where the banana is. So the Titus won't get buffed, right? So, but even then it's still a flip because you want that chicken. You want the Titus to die before the chicken goes off, because otherwise they get extra value.
Should it get buffed and be like before the start of combat?
The Anchor or
like before the start of combat.
I would prefer if we just don't have this chicken mechanic because
chicken, that's fair. That's more my agreement. I hear you.
Because you heard me praise the Hawkstrider for beasts, but you could absolutely run Hawkstrider with Phalanx. Like today in that insane Phalanx comp I had 2 golden Phalanx, golden Titus.
So you're just combining everything into some Frankenstein composition.
Best of both worlds. Honestly, like the nastiest things are like Phalanx's Kangur Murgul or something, right? Where you're like, I have Giga minions, but it's also a bunch of tokens, so my Murgul's always reborn and there's nasty stuff with both that you can do. And then of course, we covered Murlocs briefly. That's pretty much just Murky, Murkai, Bran, and then play as many battle cries as you can. You're not really going to be buying rock pools from the shop, but you're going to.
What about Murgle at all?
Yeah. So I don't mind that might be a good thing to quickly talk through. Like, okay, how do I get to the board, right? So what is like a standard game to go into Murky Murkai? I would say that base skill is one of the last things to hit the board. So what I like to do is obviously you start off with the Bran. That is the key piece. You need that because you want to be on tier 6 for Primal Fin to have a chance to pull Murky to pull Murkai. What you can do, let's say the first turn that you have Murkai, you could leave your Primal Fin next to your Murkai to just pull more Murlocs to get more money and to have a chance at finding Murgle, Base Skill, Murky, Murkai, right? Basically, like those are 4 amazing cards, and then they're all 3 6-drops and a 5-drop. So, but for the most part, you are going to want to have the Murkai with 2 Murkies next to it, and if you can, also add a Drakari, because early on, the stats, the pure just chunk from the Murlocs is going to carry you. So you're not really going to get punished for running Drakari. And then you get double end of turn with double battle cry from Bran. And then with Murkai next to Murkies, you can see how you have a lot of stats very, very quickly. Then you start adding in the Murgles, because then the Murky Murkai combo will make the Murgles bigger. And then really for the cherry on top, you start to collect things to summon with base skill and base skill. And as you approach the last turns, you start trading your Drakari for your base skill, or you trade away your Bran for base skill. I've had many games where I just haven't had to sell the Bran because I can just keep it with the Murky Murkai. But there are also moments where your opponent is not doing anything stats related at all. And then, of course, it makes no real sense to keep your Bran, because it doesn't matter if you get double the Murky triggers. If they're just trying to poison scam you, you should just play more base skill, or you should play Titus to pull more things with base skill, etc. So okay. I'd say that is the natural evolution of a Murky Murkai game.
Basically, get Bran and then try to get the combo where you're auto-scaling, right? Like, you need to set that up.
You become too big to handle very quickly with that. So if you have any kind of leeway after you hit 6 and you have a Murkai Murky, you're generally speaking going to be good.
Sounds reasonable. Well, the reason sounds like a play that works. Let's rephrase that here. Yeah.
Now, that does make the meta pretty unhealthy, because as weird as it sounds, I think the game is better when all of them are in, because then you have options.
Right. I mean, that doesn't sound weird at all.
Yeah. Well, okay, but I will. So the thing, Phalanx is in every game. It's an all minion.
Right. So you can't, like, even when none of the broken stuff's in, you always can just default to Phalanx and that will carry.
Yeah. Now I will make an exception if there's no beasts for chicken, no mechs for Kangar, no demons for cultist. Then Phalanx is still good when you get it with a reborn, but you're not going to build around it end game.
Right.
So you're going to transition into something else. A lot of the time it'll be Murloc, but
usually one of those 3 will have it, and it'll
usually,
be fine.
Most of the time one of those 3 will be in.
Yeah, so generally you can, in most scenarios, you'll be able to force.
You'll do something Phalanx related if you can.
Yeah, you'll either be able to force Phalanx, or you'll have Murlocs or Beasts in. So it's fine. Yeah.
So for me, the healthiest lobbies are Beast in, Murloc in, and then the tools for Phalanx in, because then there is maximum chance that you get something playable. And,
what I'm hearing is that the meta is not really fully balanced. We have 3 viable comps, and one is ever present, right? One is ever present.
Almost. But yes, Titus is in every game. Phalanx is in every game.
So it kind of mitigates some of the decision making and some of the stuff around hero selection, the stuff around anomalies, because most anomalies Phalanx will get you there. Phalanx will be good enough, right? So you kind of lose that decision making tree of oh my god, this anomaly's in, do I have to think about this hero or that hero? It's what hero gets me the Phalanx, or Beasts or Murlocs, depending on which one's in. So it's a little bit sad, right? But that's the meta being close to being solved, right? In terms of it's been a long time since any big patches, so a lot of people know what's most efficient, and Phalanx, Beast, Goldrin seems to be doing the best, and a lot of people are just deviating to that.
Yeah, it took a while to catch on for myself. I'm sure that there were some people.
Of course,
right? But some people were like, "Oh, okay, this is what I'm gonna do for the next 2 weeks," right? But for me, it took a while.
Or 4 weeks.
Yeah, okay, but I would say
I hear you, I
they'd
hear
be
you, I
like,
hear you.
surely they're not going to leave this unnerfed for 4 whole weeks, right?
Right.
But yes, but I would say to your point that I think when Hearthstone is at its best, when Battlegrounds is at its best, it's when there is a really wide range of things that are viable. Because it gives you such beauty in the game where you can be so flexible and be like, oh, I know this, I can play this, and then I can make it work and I can take it to its conclusion of what the board is going to look like, and I know how to play that. And that is kind of lost when it's crazy, but this is again a play that I made where I had Titus, Kangor, Buster, Deflecto, Foe Reaper, and I still,
that seems pretty good.
Yeah, and I yeeted the Buster at the first second I could to get a Phalanx in. Because
Phalanx is a better Buster. I don't understand.
It's still better.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's still better to reason. Yeah, but I mean, my board is completely mech. I have no other types, but it's still better for me to have the Phalanx.
It's easier to it's very easy to switch. You just buy one thing and that thing is already like
absolutely. Yeah. But that to me would be a good example of kind of like ugly gameplay. But it's to me,
Phalanx is too good, right?
Yeah.
In that scenario, it's still better because that is like close to as good as you can with Buster.
I had the Blaster. I had one turn, and this I guess is still something that I think is very beautiful about the game. Is the reason that I did really well in that game is because I recognized, hey, I can play Exodia Buster here, right? I did the Blaster where I killed off. I only had one Buster, one Kangor. So what I did was I killed off my Deflectobot and my Buster. So I summoned 2 Deflectobots and 2 Busters, which is like a little bit of a variant of the old Exodia Buster. Instead of summoning a bunch of Busters, you summon Deflectobots as well. Mainly because you're poor and you don't have 2 Busters. But yeah, exactly. But it's good. You get like 40 Deflectobot. It's okay.
It still works.
Yeah, it killed my opponent, right? It did okay. So that was beautiful because I was like, oh, I can play Exodia Buster here. But then it's insane. I hit one Phalanx and I'm like, all right, let's get this Blaster out of here. Let's get this Buster out of here. Like, thank you guys. Appreciate your service. So that to me is like the ugly part when there are things that are so strong that almost no matter what you're playing, you're just going to kick it. And Murky Murkeye does the same thing where I can be playing pretty much no matter what. If I have a chance to suddenly do like Golden Brand Murky Murkeye, I will pretty much always pivot because there's just no reason to play anything else if you can.
That's a little disappointing.
It's a little crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. A little disappointing. I would love that to not be the case. But I mean, I would say like the solution is maybe adjustments or remove
we are getting close to the end of the season, right?
Yeah, that's true. So
December,
they're probably not even working on this patch anymore.
Yes,
I bet.
I'm going to be realistic here, right? It is currently at the time of recording 24th of November, and we know that in December the new season will start. Right. I don't know if the exact date has been announced. If we can,
they're just gonna let this fizzle out. I hear you. Yeah, there's no need to balance.
So I would be very surprised if we get a huge balance patch, being like, we've heard you, right? Murlocs, Beast, Phalanx are too strong. We're gonna buff these types. We're gonna nerf this. We're gonna change this. I think it's just gonna be like, yeah, guys, in December it's new season. Then we do a whole patch anyway. So So yeah, I think we're gonna be playing this for
but
now.
They're not gonna say that like, hey guys.
No. That's we translate this. Right? This is a free translation, and it makes sense as well, right? Like, we'd rather have them spend their time and effort to make the new season really cool than to make how many more weeks is it of this? Not more than 2 or 3 or something, right? So there's no way. Yeah, exactly. New season starts. We're doing Phalanx again, boys. Let's go.
I mean, it's possible to be.
Yeah. Who knows, right? But then hopefully we see a nerf, right? If that
Phalanx
is true. Dominates in the new season, Jesus. I would hope there was a very, very fast nerf then, because I don't want to play a new season on presumably a new patch playing the same comp. All right.
Is there any other like archetypes you want to give like some shout outs to? Like demons is pretty popular, you know, anything there that's
right. So I will say if you have no elemental and no quillbore in the lobby, you can do really good stuff with demons, pure demon. Okay. So generally what people will do is either have like a big shop and make giant Orzels, or they'll just have a huge floating watcher. And then
that both work. You can do that in the same game.
You can do it with both. And the goal there is to play demons in the mid game, like pure demon, to really just boost the stats. And then in the end game, you switch to Titus plus the cultist, and then you just taunt your largest demon. And then they kill your largest demon, and then because you have Titus cultist, let's say you have like 500 Orzol, you summon double 500 Orzol with your first one. If Nagas are in, you can Divine Shield it with the bubble, and then they come back with bubbles. You could stealth through Titus, right, which makes it very, very reliable. So I would say Naga Demon Endgame with
is like okay.
Yeah. Now the problem is if people are running
they the 3/3, right?
Yeah, Bramble Witch completely shits on this because you can't taunt your big guy. And then it's like, oh, how do I taunt something else and then, you know, have my biggest demon, my presumably very large demon, have it die before anything else? You know, it's very awkward, very weird. So
you can't like taunt two demons, right? It's just like kind of hard to.
Yeah, you can't taunt the second demon because they'll always kill a demon and turn it into a 3/3. So
right.
You have to taunt the Leroy.
You have to untaunt your demon and then taunt something random.
Yeah. Generally, I would
that's
go
not a
for,
demon.
Yeah, generally I go for taunt Leroy. And then
of course,
I just have
of course you do.
Yeah, as I do, right? So what I would do is maybe play Leroy in the front, taunt Leroy in the back, have my big demon number 2, and then just the rest is hopefully stealth. So it's just like the only target.
Yeah.
So, but that's
you hope that this is the last fight.
Yeah,
you don't have to do that again.
Exactly. You're hoping that, you know. So that's why I tend to not do it when either Quillbore or Elemental are in, because
there's counterplay built in.
It's a huge headache. But it does feel way too strong when the counterplay isn't in. Because if you could say, hey, this is my, you know, 800, and I'm going to summon it 4 more times. It's
with
like
Divine Shields.
Yeah, Divine Shield Reborn if you want, right? Because with Mecha Jiraxes, it's very easy to reborn. Like, it'll get reborn at some point for sure. That's very tough to deal with. So even Murlocs could struggle with that if you're not like insane, right? If you don't have like the huge Murlocs. If you have an 800 Orzol Divine Shield Reborn and you're summoning that 4 times, that's tough.
Yeah, I can see that. So, you know, demons have some play patterns. Obviously, there are some big counterplays. I would still say mechs, right? If you can get the mech combo off with, you know, it's a little slow.
I'd say it's very anomaly dependent. But
sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise.
I wouldn't say force it. No. I'm just trying to give some.
I wouldn't say play it. Honestly, I'd say like a niche thing that you could do is Nagas.
So Shady, you're coming at this at like high level, like there's only force these 3 comps. Never do anything else. If you're not playing Phalanx, Beast, or Murlocs, I don't want to see you. Like that's what I'm hearing. I don't know if that's like appropriate here. You know, I'm just saying, like, let's say you don't get them, you don't want to play these comps. Like, yeah, you could play some demons. You know, you could play some mech. You know, it's not like you're gonna win, is what Shady's saying. Like, you're not gonna win with these. So like these are trash. That's what Shady's saying. But I'm just saying, like, you can do it. You could do it. It's, you know, not everyone's playing top 100 in the world, you know, every game. Like, that's not their competition. They don't have to do this.
Okay.
So, you know, play mechs if you want.
Yeah, there are situations where even I play mech, right? That's to be the right.
That's all I'm saying.
I won a game with mech today.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
It's doable. Yeah.
It was a very specific anomaly, but
the rest of them, I'm giving no hope now.
Well, I would say something that was very surprising, but I do actually pretty okay with Nagas.
I think Nagas are decent. Like what type of Nagas, right?
Slitter Spear Nagas, not
Okay.
not Zesty. I find that Zesty Crooner, like you can always play that if you hit it, right? But it's so
Right, of course.
unless
So
the anomaly
simple.
is helping you, it's really hard to hit it, right? It needs to be double header so you get 2 copies, or Golden Arena so it's golden straight away.
Okay.
But Slitter Spear, because it works with Drakari, has actually been doing okay for me. So the setup would be to have something like Orgo to give you a spell, and then Slitter Spear Drakari, and then the rest is just Nagas. So you can cycle spellcraft minions, you can use gems, you can use coins, and you tend to accumulate quite some buffs with Slitter Spear, which is end of turn, +1/+1 to all your other Nagas for every different spell you've played. So 2 blood gems won't count, but a coin and a blood gem would count for 2. And Drakari makes that proc twice end of turn. And you could have like a Golden Myrmidon with that and just like pump that like crazy. And then you have a 400 Myrmidon in the end game. You can also scale Thrashers with that, the 3-drop that gains Poison Divine Shield, or Venom Divine Shields rather. So that's pretty good to scale. So most of my games, I tend to cycle a lot of the spellcrafts. I tend to not really have a ton of spellcrafts on the board getting buffed. It's more, I have my Splitter Spear, my Drakari, and maybe 1 permanent spellcraft minion or so, and the rest is really just cycle for gem, for coin, for more spellcraft.
So you need Crowbars in.
Yeah, it's a lot stronger with a gem every turn, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's not a premium comp, but I've won games with it. So, and like pretty much every time I play it, it's because I really hit it. Like I got like Orgo Slither Spear early, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'll do this because then the Orgo can make more Slither Spear, and then you get like Golden Slither Spear and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's another one.
Orgazo is also not a bad 6-drop triple early.
Yeah,
that's
economy. That's like a safe bet. Orgo.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well,
pretty cool.
I was going to like close the segment here on the meta stuff because. We can open to Q&A for just a little bit if there's any interesting questions in the chat. And if not, we can just also wrap up the episode here. Like we said, there's not been a lot of change, and the meta has been very specific. And we just talked about the meta. So if there's any questions in chat, you can fire them now.
You guys should do a Q&A. What are the questions? I don't know.
Oh, that's why I'm saying... I just
want a Q&A.
They have a few minutes, and if there's no good questions, then it's end of the podcast. But it's just because it's been like slightly shorter podcast, I guess. We could also play a game if you want. That's up.